Night flight, Iraq, 2003. I'm at the controls of a C-130 with 60 Marines in the back. We're screaming towards Baghdad International Airport. We're 1 mile out, 300 feet off the ground. An 18-year-old kid in the back of my airplane tells us to abort the landing. He wasn't a senior officer, he wasn't a veteran crew member, he was a teenager fresh out of high school with less than 1 year of service in the Air Force. And he made a call that saved every life on that aircraft that night. That's the difference between a bad leader and a good leader. And most people have never been taught what that difference actually looks like. Today, I'm going to show you. My name is Jason Harris. I spent nearly 30 years in the United States Air Force flying missions around the world. Combat operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Horn of Africa. 11 combat deployments, more than 470 combat missions. Today, I fly the Boeing 777 airplane for American Airlines with nearly 300 people behind me every flight. And I've taken what I learned in the cockpit into companies like Caterpillar, Lockheed Martin, Ford, and many others. What I've seen over and over is this: the organizations that win are not the ones with the best strategy. They're the ones where people actually trust each other. And most leaders have never been taught how to build that kind of trust. I've been the good leader and I've been the bad one. I've seen both from the cockpit, the C-suite, and the boardroom. So let's get into it. Bad leaders control, good leaders trust. C-130 aircraft, 6-person crew. Mission: deliver 60 Marines into Baghdad International Airport, pick up 60 Army soldiers. Night flight, night vision goggles on, green glow throughout the night sky. We begin our combat descent. We're 1 mile out, 300 feet above the ground. We're configuring for landing. The throttles are at idle, the flaps are down. Our loadmaster calls over the radio, "Go around." This kid is 18 years old, sitting in the back of my airplane, and he just told his aircraft commander to abort a combat landing. I didn't pause, I didn't question it. Full power, pull the nose 7 degrees nose high, flaps to 50%, positive rate, gear up, we climbed away. At a safe altitude, I asked him what happened. He said, "Sir, there was a vehicle on the runway you couldn't see from the cockpit. I could see what you could not see." That trust wasn't built in the moment. It's months of making it clear to that young person, your voice matters in our squadron and on this airplane. The rank becomes irrelevant when it's time for us to get the mission done. If you see something that I'm unaware of, if you see something that I cannot see, it is your obligation to speak up and call it out. And I trust you to make the right call at the right time for the right reason. You see, initially, I was making decisions without asking my team. And what that created was people stopped speaking up. They stopped adding input that was valuable. I had to learn the hard way. Control doesn't make you a leader. Having all the answers doesn't make you a leader. What it does make you is the bottleneck to solving problems. Bad leaders, what I've learned over the course of my career, they build teams that are afraid to speak up. Good leaders, they build a team where an 18-year-old feels safe enough to override the person that's in charge, to override that aircraft commander, to override that senior ranking officer, because they understand what is valuable and what needs to be heard right now to ensure that we get the mission done. I want you to think about your own team right now. The people that are on your team, are they speaking up, or have they been conditioned and have they learned to just stay quiet? If it's quiet, that's actually not peace. What you have there with quiet on a team that isn't speaking up, it's not peace, that's compliance. What you have is compliance, and compliance, that's where good teams go to die. That night over Baghdad taught me something I've never forgotten. A bad leader holds control because they're afraid of what happens if they let go. A good leader gives trust because they know the person closest to the work sees the things they never will. That 18-year-old saved my life and saved the lives of my crew. Not because of rank, because someone trusted him enough to let him use his voice. So let me ask you this. If someone on your team saw a problem right now, would they tell you? Or have they learned that it's safer to just stay quiet? Bad leaders build kingdoms, good leaders build people. Patrick Lencioni said, "The single greatest advantage any organization can achieve is organizational health, and it starts with trust. Not strategy, not technology, trust." A bad leader measures success by how much people need them. Every decision runs through them, every approval needs their signature. They're the center of everything, and it works. Until they're not there. then it all falls apart. A good leader measures success by how well the team runs without them. And that takes a level of humility that most people struggle with. I know I did. It's hard to let go of being needed. Your ego tells you that if they can do it without you, maybe they don't need you at all. But that's the wrong way to think about it. The goal isn't to be needed. The goal is to build people in a team that's ready. I want you to think about that young loadmaster one more time. We didn't train him to need me or any other crew member or any other pilot in that moment. We trained him to act when I was unable to act. We trained him to act on his own. We trained him to make decisions in the heat of battle. That's the difference between building a kingdom and building a team. A kingdom needs a king. A team needs each other. Research from Harvard and Gallup shows that about 2 out of 10 employees worldwide are actually engaged at work. What that means is that 8 out of 10 people are actually just going through the motions. When you have this kind of culture, you don't fix that with the random pizza parties and the mandatory fun. You fix it by investing in your people. You fix it by connecting with your people. You fix this by showing people that not only do they matter, but they matter well beyond just their job title and their position. I've seen this play out for nearly 3 decades. A bad leader builds something that falls apart the moment that they walk away. But a good leader, they build people who rise up the moment that they're needed. The real measure of your leadership is not what happens when you're in the room, it's what happens when you're not. Ask yourself this: if you left your team tomorrow, would they be better because of what you built in them, or would they struggle because everything depended on you? Let me go ahead and prepare to land this plane, so to speak. Bad leader versus good leader comes down to control versus trust. A good leader trusts the people closest to the work, even when that person is an 18-year-old in a combat zone. Kingdom versus people. A good leader builds a team that thrives without them, not one that collapses without them. I've been on both sides. I've been the leader who controlled too much and talked too much and needed to be at the center. And I've been the leader whose crew was saved by a teenager because I finally learned how to get out of the way. That is what I call no-fail trust. Trust the training, trust the process, trust the people. If you want to know exactly where you stand as a leader, I've created a free 2-minute assessment. It takes less than 2 minutes. You'll get your score immediately, and it'll show you the specific areas where your team's trust might be breaking down. The link is in the description. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out content every week for leaders who are done with average and ready to build teams that truly perform. Blue skies, fair winds, and all the best, my friend.